Hey, how y'all doing? It's Sharonda, and hey, how y'all doing? And today I'm here, of course, to talk about a book. So let's get into this thing, shall we? Okay, so today I will be talking Starcrossed, Enemies to Lovers Romance by Shae Sanders. This is the second book in her Jackson Brothers series, and we are talking the middle brother, Victor. Okay, so I really did enjoy this book. I thought it was a fun, it was a fun enemies to lovers. You know what I mean? Like they hated each other to the point of like hilarity. Like it was so out of pocket, especially the shade that Victor was throwing towards Electra. It was it was out of pocket. But let's talk about this book. So we have Victor and Electra, who became enemies when they worked together at this corporation, right? And what happened was some shit went down. They both ended up being investigated, and this led them both to believe that something had, that either one of them had did something to the other one. You know what I mean? So it was like that, and they left. Both of them ended up. I don't know if they were fired or if they were let go, but either way, they both ended up leaving the company with with that issue never being resolved. So now they run into each other again because they are both consultants that are trying to get their prospective businesses off the ground, and they have to work together on this new project for this company. Well, child, when they both see each other at this goddamn company thing, they're just like, I know. Like, excuse me? Who? What? Why are you here? It was kind of like, what's that mean with the dude from Outkast, Andre? Big Boy. When he was like, who. I know damn who I think it is. It's kind of like that with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could not stand each other. It was really, really bad. But of course, these two truckers, they are very, very much attracted to each other. So for the majority of the book, what we get is Victor and Electra kind of like having this back and forth, trying to work together because again, they're both trying to secure this contract from this company. It's big money, you know what I mean? And with either one of them or both of them securing this contract, it can lead it can lead them to do bigger and better things, especially with them trying to start their own prospective companies or businesses or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So for the most of the book, they are really just like going back and forth with each other, and they're trying to like work because they do get to a point where they both realize that the petty arguments have to stop because child, it was so bad that they were arguing. So this company decided to put like a person from their organization to work with them, Nora, this older lady, right? And it was so bad between them that they were literally arguing and fussing in front of Nora. Like, it was crazy, but Nora just found it all comical because Nora, like us readers, you know what I'm saying, we were just like, girl, y'all just need to just go ahead and just like, just F it out your system or something because this is ridiculous. Like, this is just crazy. It was so bad to the point, like, even um Taurus and I think the other brother's name Elliot. We saw them, like telling Victor, like, man, you like this lady. Like, yeah, you may not like her like that, but you definitely want to get in her stockings. Cause sidebar, Victor had a thing for black stockings. Child, I was just like, mm-hmm. And Electra wore tended to wear stockings a lot when but it was just like really, really funny. And like even Electra's best friend was telling her, like, girl, just go ahead and just like do this man because you are being ridiculous. Like, it is okay to hate him, but you could still, get it out your system or something. Like, it was so bad, y'all, that now I do like that Electra was like, she was seeing somebody. It wasn't like a boyfriend or anything like that. It was just like, someone to relieve the pressure when she needed her pressure valves, loosened up. You know what I'm saying? So, so it was so bad to the point that now she couldn't even, like, call her, her side Negro on and be like, come over here and help me relieve this pressure. Like, that's how bad it was. That's how bad, because she was so attracted to Victor. Like, everything was starting to be distracting to her. Not her work, because Alexa and both, and Victor as well, they were both good at their jobs. But it was just like being around him was just like, ugh. And the Negro looked good too. Looked like he worked out, what I'm saying? Kept himself looking good, smelling good, looking clean, all that. So Electra was just like, oh my God, like, why can't you be ugly and stink? Then I can hate you. Then I can hate you more. You know what I mean? Like, I can hate your guts, like, completely. But, for the majority of the book, we see where they are kind of like doing this whole back and forth, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, they do come to some type of compromise where they both realize that, hey, we have to, if either one of us want to get this deal, we're gonna have to put this petty bullshit to the side and, try to work together. And they start doing that, and then of course it leads to them, actually having a conversation about this attraction that they have towards each other. And they decide to just go ahead and try to be like, just fucking around or whatever. But it's just like, it's not going to happen, because I it like, it blows my mind. Like, I know people can do it, but it like blows my mind that people just think that, sometimes, like, just change your body, like, being that emotionally and physically, like, wrapped up in somebody, there's no way that feelings are not going to be caught. Like, it's crazy, you know what I mean? So they decide to start, effing around, and things get a little bit more complicated, because Electra she has a lot of hangups. It, mainly comes from, her family. She comes from a very bourgeois family. They have certain expectations of their children. Her brother is exceeding those expectations, and Electra is, to her parents, she is not. But Electra is doing pretty good, you know what I'm saying? When she was in college, she had a situation that I feel like it was more so her mother that was holding it against her. I think her father just wanted her to, like most dads, they just want their daughters to be okay, to be comfortable, you know what I'm saying, to be okay out in this world, because, you understand that, she's a woman, she's a black woman, shit could be difficult. But I think he just wanted her to be okay. But her mother had, like, these really crazy expectations of her, and it seemed like Electra could never live up to them. And her mother had this real bad habit. Like I said, she got caught up in a situation when she was in college, her first year of college, and it seemed like her mother was kind of like holding that over her head. So it was kind of like that. So it in turn, it made Electra, like, when I tell y'all, Victor could not stand Electra. Like, he hated her fucking guts, because when they were working at this first company, it was only like generally with corporates, only like a handful of black people or whatever. And Electra came in like she was better than Victor and the other black person that was there. So, and they did have a conversation. I think he said something to the reference of when he told her he was from an HBCU. She was like, oh, looking at him like, he said, you was looking at me like I was a drug dealer or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that. So Victor just like, I, like, even when they had a conversation about their past, and it was like Victor kept telling her, like, I just did not like you. Like, you walked in, like, when we all were together, working at this company, like, you literally walked in a room like you were better than everybody else. You thought that your Ivy League degree was gonna, remove you from certain situations, like it was gonna put you on top of the rest of us, and it didn't. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy. But I do like the conversations that Shae Sanders had inside of this book, especially when it came to, like, corporate environments for black people, and especially with Electra, with her just not being just a black person, but she was also a woman. So it was just like she had this double whammy against her. So I like that she approached that conversation, how black people have to deal with a whole lot of, bullshit and microaggressions within these corporate environments. Because even with this current company, we kind of like see that go on a little bit when her and Victor are having these panels with the employees for this company that they're consulting for. Like, but I love that she wrote it where Victor wasn't putting up with that bullshit, you know what I'm saying, from those people. He was just like, no, like, we're here together, we're doing this job together, and you're going to respect her. And I love that she put that in there, because it was just like a black man protecting a black woman, and in that kind of environment, you know what I mean, that needed to be on page. It was really good to see. I do wish she had dwelled a little bit more on this past situation that they had. It is there on page, and they have a conversation about it, but I feel like the conversation wasn't fully resolved. You know what I mean? It was, once they decided to have this relationship, it was just like, okay, we just want to talk about it a little bit, and we just going to move on. So I wish you would have just like, have them have a little bit more conversation, especially if we would have just found out a little bit more, because we get a little information about what happened. It seems like the last company was on some bullshit, you know what I mean. It was a lot of shit going on at that company, but I wanted more of a fuller conversation on page with it. Now, the attraction, like I said, the attraction between Victor and Electra was nuts. It was so out of pocket. Like, the fact that these two knew that they wanted to like each other, but the hate was so goddamn deep between them. It was just like, I hate your goddamn guts. I hate your bald headed ass. It's like that. That's how it was. So it was what I think this ended up being, like a really fun enemies to lovers romance. I think her adding kind of like the humorous parts in it, you know what I mean? It helped move this relationship a little bit faster than what we see in some enemies to lovers romance sometimes, because sometimes it's just that these two motherfuckers ain't even, they're not communicating. They can't even get it together to a point where we kind of see like some type of resolvence, until like damn near the end of the book, you know what I'm saying? But with Starcrossed, I think her having these humorous moments, and also writing Victor as the most understanding man ever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like this lady, but I can understand the things that she is going through. Especially, there was a scene in the book where he ended up going to like a family event with her, and he kind of like saw like, this tenseness between her and her family. So him like coming in and being able to talk to her and have decent conversations with her, conversations where he is telling her, what, I can understand, where you're coming from and how you're dealing with things and how this can be difficult for you and stuff like that. So I liked that she wrote him in such a way that he just wasn't like this old pig-headed ass motherfucker that just could not understand anything that this lady was going through, you know what I'm saying? And it's not like you could remove Electra from any type of situation or things, because in my opinion, she was doing too goddamn much sometimes, you know what I mean? Because I was just like, girl, it ain't even no need for you to be acting like that. But again, as I said earlier, the way that her family had these expectations of her, she kind of like put those expectations outward instead of just dealing with what she had to deal with. So, but all in all, this was a really good read. This is a really good fun read. I loved it. I loved seeing Taurus and Elliot, the other brother, again. It was just, and also I loved the brotherly relationships that we saw on page in here. Like the way Victor, Taurus, and Elliot, just like even with Elliot, not being in the being out in the world, presenting himself out in the world the way Taurus and Victor did, like the way they were just able to just like you know what, it doesn't matter, you're my brother and I'm going to help you out either way. It was just good to see that on the page. I think they had a wonderful relationship between them, like just seeing them just like around shooting the shits and, you know, like talking with each other and joking on each other and just, you know, being brothers towards each other, you know what I'm saying? And Victor and Elliot just really just like ragging on Victor, I'm sorry, Taurus and Elliot just like ragging on Victor about him being pig-headed. His approach towards Electra was funny as hell. Like, it was just like really great. And I do like that we got a conversation on page between Alexa and her parents, especially with her brother too, because she always felt like her brother kind of like, you know, abandoned her when her mother came around, which he did. Because I was like, boy, what is you doing? But it was good to see, like, you know, a resolvance of a conversation on page. Alexa was finally able to, you know, tell her parents how, you know, how they made her feel and how she kind of like took those feelings and kind of like put it out in the world. You know, it was a good conversation to have on page. And that's where it kind of like confirmed with me that it was really her mama. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. But this was a really good fun read. I really did enjoy it. Cannot wait for the other brothers' books. That is going to be interesting as hell, especially with him presenting so different from Taurus and Victor. So this is going to be good. But I like this book. Sharonda Isadora, I high key recommend it. Add it to your summer reading list. And if you have not read the first book, add that as well. And that is it for me. Until the next one, later days. Bye.